Okay, and now I would like to bring up to the stage Caren Eckrich. I think it's Eckrich. Again, this is somebody who I heard them speak at ICRS, and I just thought this story has to be shared with the restoration community. We've heard a lot of talk about restoration and all these fancy gadgets and how to do it better, but as Andrew alluded to in his slide, and a lot of people have, without stopping climate change, without taking care of the environment, restoration is a pointless waste of money. And if there's one place in the Caribbean that has done an amazing job of that, it's Bonaire. And so I'm so pleased to welcome Caren here to speak about that. So please give a hand to Caren.
Thank you. Thanks for the warm welcome. I'm really honored that Bonaire was chosen to be highlighted here with all you amazing people, and I feel really privileged to be able to share it with you. So, my name's Caren, and I'm a biologist with STINAPA. We manage the Bonaire National Marine Park and also the Washington Slagby Park. So, Bonaire is a small island in the Southern Caribbean, and we're part of the Dutch ABC Islands, and we're known for our amazing reefs and our proactive management strategies. So way back in 1961, our government already protected sea turtle hatchlings. And in 1971, Captain Don Stewart, some of you may have known him, after a weekend spearfishing tournament, he was devastated. He said, oh my gosh, government, you need to ban spearfishing altogether. And they did. Really cool. 1975, our government protected all corals. 1978, they banned all anchoring, and it was coupled with mooring buoys spread throughout the island. And in 1979, we started the Bonaire Marine Park. 10 years later, we started charging divers $10 each, and that financed our park. And we also mandated diver orientations, so they were educated. In 2008, we basically developed 2 small fish protected areas, but at least we got some. And in 2010, after we saw some disturbing trends on parrotfish populations going down, our government protected all parrotfish, as well as some other species of concern. Also, we had La Pointe in 2008 and Slikerman in 2013 do some water quality studies. We saw our nutrient concentrations were getting pretty high. So with funding from the EU, we were able to install our very first wastewater treatment facility, and we're very excited about that. Okay, so at STINAPA, we can't manage the reefs without stakeholder engagement. So one example of a successful program was our lionfish control program. So before lionfish even invaded, we had materials and volunteers that were already ready, even restaurants that were willing to promote it as a sustainable seafood choice. So in the last 11 years, or more actually, we've been able to keep the lionfish densities really low. We also work together with companies and coastal development. So for instance, Salt Pier, one of the most popular dive sites, is actually at Cargill Salt. And they had to renovate the pilings. And so they asked STINAPA, well, we asked them actually, we partnered with them and dive shops and hundreds of volunteers to transplant thousands of sponges that would have otherwise perished during the renovations. So a lot of fun. They can go back and see their sponges. Okay, so Jackson's study basically compiled all these studies and showed Caribbean reefs are in trouble. You know, so Caribbean average is the dotted line, it's going down. Bonaire average is a little bit higher, but we're also seeing decrease in coral cover. I mean, Bonaire's small, it's outside of the hurricane belt, has a low population density. But I'd like to think some of these amazing conservation measures have also helped to keep our reefs a little bit better than the rest, or at least our coral cover. We also have Rolf Box. So he's succeeded by Dr. Eric Meesters, and they have the longest time series of coral cover in the world, really. Over 40 years of monitoring. One of those sites is in Bonaire, Carpata, and it went from 70% coral cover all the way down to 20% coral cover. Oops, I thought that was the I thought that was the laser pointer. Here we go. Yeah. Anyhow, So reefs are in trouble. We know that. Also, DJ DeBacher, he went and surveyed 115 sites. Took him a long time, 6 months. And when he put all those data into the Reef Health Index, he was able to see that even though everybody loves Bonaire, it's got amazing reefs, it's actually not doing so well. And we could do a lot better to bring our reefs back up to good conditions. So, in a world where, we know that these reefs are incredible, they're biodiverse, yet they're incredibly fragile. So, with increasing population, climate change, there are some that say the reefs are doomed. Why even bother? Why should we invest in them if everybody's saying they're gonna die anyhow? But I don't believe that. You guys don't believe that. I can see that. This week has been incredibly inspiring, all that everybody's doing. You're the go-getters. You're the believers. You're the hope. So we at STINAPA, we have to manage this, and it's amazing. So there's no way we're not going to do anything. I'm not going to look at my grandkids in the eye and say I didn't do my utmost to safeguard this incredible ecosystem. So what we've seen is a little bit of hope in Bonaire and other places as well. So Dr. Bob Stanek, he comes every 2 years since 2003. In the first 15 years, it wasn't looking so good, I have to say. But since 2015, we've seen some resilience trends. We've seen coral cover increasing. We've seen macroalgae decreasing. And we've seen coral recruits going up as well. So this is really hopeful. We also monitor coral bleaching. And even though we get it almost every year, it always recovers until now. So, knock on wood. So really exciting, but this transient bleaching, there is some evidence saying that maybe elevated nutrient levels are actually exacerbating that. So we really want to look at our water quality a little bit more and see what we can do to make interventions to improve the water quality. But it's my belief that these little hopeful signs, this resilience, has inspired also our commitment to do what we can for the reefs, has inspired our national government, the Netherlands, Holland, to develop this nature and environment plan. And a large part of that policy plan is what we refer to as the Coral Action Plan. So if you look at the box, we're gonna focus on controlling erosion and runoff, effective waste and wastewater management, and coral reef restoration. So STINAPA, we manage this very large park. It's a terrestrial park. And one way that we're going to reduce erosion is what we call the ecological restoration of Washington Slagby Park. So we're removing the feral grazers, the goats mostly. And with that, we're hoping to reduce erosion and improve coastal water quality. It's a very exciting program that I'm very invested in. So if you look at the satellite pictures, you can even see the historic overgrazing of the former Washington plantation. And although many years STINAPA only just kind of controlled goats, and the last few years we have a new plan, so we're fencing large isolated areas, and we're getting local groups to come in and get as many goats as they can and go with them and eat them. And it works out really well. We also pay other local groups to come get the really hard goats. And last year alone, we're talking like 3,000 goats here, just in Slagby. And last year we removed over 50% of the goats. We're so proud of ourselves. And that first isolated area is completely goat-free. There's still one donkey, which we're trying to get. The second area is only got 2 goats. They're both males, so not such a problem, but really smart males, but not for long. So we're gonna get them. And so we're working our way over. We started in the coastal zone, hoping to reduce erosion in that really sensitive area. So very exciting project. We're also partnering with World Wildlife Fund and local government, and we're tackling the wastewater problem that we have with the liveaboard sailboats. It's really exciting because the results of that monitoring have led to new regulations and policies. So soon, these boaters, well, now they already have to pump out, but soon they have to have a holding tank as well. So that's really a big success for us. And we also are partnering with Wageningen University, that's a mouthful, and the In-Reef program for regular water quality monitoring. And the preliminary results suggest that we're still just below thresholds for healthy reefs. Yet we have some outliers, so we're going to really focus on those and see where we need interventions to try to improve the water quality. Here's the really good stuff. So Reef Renewal, Bonaire, it's one of our very strong partners. In Bonaire, they've been active for more than 10 years. More than 45,000 owl-planted corals. Incredible success. People are in love with Reef Renewal and the work they're doing. Beautiful, mostly branching corals, but they're also branching out now to other corals. So we have tons of nurseries all throughout the island. We partner together to try to choose the best sites, at least, that are also able to get to, and also outplant sites. And the really cool thing about what's happening, these outplant sites are just flourishing. This one has spawned for the last 4 years, and Reef Renewal Bonaire has been able to capture the gametes, enhance the fertilization, propagate the larvae and the cribs in situ, and then put the fragments back out on the trees. So they've completed the cycle. Incredible work. We're gonna, hopefully, STINAPA, Reef Renewal Bonaire, we want to partner together to really look at the future and figure out what's gonna be needed, especially with SCTLD and future threats. Who knows what's coming next? We also are partnering with them with Resembit to increase the biodiversity in Lac Bay. And they recently put some nursery trees there too. So really exciting work. If you want to learn more about their work, Francesca's giving her talk tomorrow. I'm not sure if this is the right time. Sorry. So her last name is Virdis. Go see what they're doing. Incredible work. Coupled with the active restoration, we're also seeing passive restoration. So this is 1,000 steps. The sites are expanding so fast, they're overgrowing mound corals. Super exciting. We don't know what's driving this. Is it disease resistance? No major storms for 12 years. Is it the gametes from the active sites? Is it the wastewater treatment? Probably a combination of all of the above. So even though we're doing all this amazing stuff at the local level, we still have so many challenges. I mean, we're not a paradise by any means. We have increasing coastal development. We have increasing population, increasing tourism. We don't have a limits of acceptable change plan. We don't even really know what it means. So we're struggling with this in a situation that's going really fast. We have a new fisheries management plan, but our fishers have never had permits. They've never had to report catch. Our fish protected areas aren't really that effective, so still a lot of work to do. And we have uncontrolled runoff during storm events and heavy rain events, so lots of work to do. So I don't want to mess this up. Okay, so Captain Don Stewart, he was our conservation pioneer, but he was followed by a series of amazing park managers and staff, a government that was really proactive and supportive. And although we have all these measures in place, our global and local stressors continue to grow. And so do we. We have to learn and adapt and manage more effectively. And that's our challenge right now. So it's my belief that governments, societies, individuals, we have to change much more drastically. We have to do much, much more if we're really going to achieve healthy reefs for the future. So my vision is that very soon, in the near future, we're going to come to conferences like this, and it is going to be 100% carbon offsets, and that there's going to be dozens and dozens of venues that are embracing sustainability and share our vision for a future with reefs, maybe even doing reef restoration. Wouldn't that be amazing? So I really want to thank MPA Connect for bringing me here, and the Coral Restoration Consortium for allowing me to share Bonaire's story. But before I go, I just want to send lots of love to all those people right now that are getting slammed by Hurricane Ian. And I think it's really hard to be up here right now, and that's happening. But I'm glad we're here, and you're really inspiring. I love what I'm learning. I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much.